Hey, what is up, guys? I'm Android iOS Tech Hacker here, and this is the iPad Air 2. Now, this can be a very simple, relatively easy review video because we saw the iPad Air 1 last year, and overall, as a category, these iPads or any large tablet have sort of slowed down into this iteration year by year. We see them getting a little bit better, but there aren't many drastic changes made. So really the easiest way to show this to you is to give you a list of the ways it is changed versus the iPad Air 1. So these are the changes made to create the iPad Air 2. The iPad Air 2 is thinner and lighter than the first iPad Air. The first one was already very thin and light, but this Air 2 is just 0.96 pounds, so lighter, and 6.1 millimeter thin, so thinner than any other tablet out there, and believe me, that translates very well from papers and just numbers to actual hardware and holding in the hands. So the building of this thing is just real. It is completely made up of metal all around, which is great, and it has rounded sides and chamfered edges all the way, and it kind of feels as if the display is attached to almost nothing at this point. Although it is not a one-handed tablet as it has a 9.7-inch screen, but it is much easier to hold with one hand and type. So it has surely set a standard for the build quality, and it surely deserves the name. And now let me give you the whopping specs of this beast. So this one is rocking a triple 1.5 GHz Typhoon, Power VR GXA 6850 octa-core graphics, 9.7-inch 1536 into 2048 Retina display with 264 pixel per inch, 7340 mAh of battery, 2 GB of RAM with Apple A8X chipset. It has a scratch-resistant glass oleophobic coating. It has a fingerprint scanner which is front-mounted with accelerometer, gyroscope, compass, barometer, and 8 megapixel rear camera and 1.2 megapixels of front camera. The speaker on the iPad, which is at the bottom, is very loud. It is actually so loud that it vibrates the entire tablet at its loudest volume. So it's kind of funny. The lightning conductor, that is the charging port, is also situated at the bottom of the iPad, thus making the iPad easier to charge as well as to use it while charging. The volume rockers are situated on its right side, and it also comes with a dedicated noise cancelling microphone, and this is all it has on its right side. And coming on its left side, it is totally flat with the aluminium body and just nothing else. The body has a great finish, and there might be a chance of slipping this iPad out from our hands. I recommend you to buy a case for it. And coming on its top, not like the iPhone 7 or the HTC Ultra, it is coming with the audio jack and obviously the power button, which is rightly placed for this iPad. And now they upgraded the camera. Yes, I know it's now rocking an even better 8 megapixel camera, essentially the exact same optics as the iPhone 5s. And I gave credit to Apple. You're right, this iPad has probably the best camera viewfinder out there technically. That's true, and as beautiful as it might be to look in front of your face, and it still doesn't mean that you should take pictures and videos all the time with your tablet. But hey, the iPhone 5s took pretty good pictures, and so does the iPad Air 2. And here comes some of the pictures I took using this iPad. But the other downside of going so thin and light is the space inside is a little bit smaller, and that means you have a smaller battery size. But the thing is, still a great battery life for a tablet. I didn't even notice having to charge it more versus any other iPad. It has great stamina. That's basically all day with any use, and has that classic iPad ridiculous standby time where you can leave it for 85%, not use it for a week, and pick it up to use it, and it will be right ready at like 82%. So technically, yes, it is a smaller battery. It's a 15% smaller cell coming in at 7340 mAh battery, and yes, I should be mad at them for sacrificing battery just to make it thinner. You also get the Touch ID now, the fingerprint sensor over the home button that you can use to unlock the tablet, but kinda stop short of a lot of potential. I mean, there is no NFC, so you can't use it for Apple Pay, but there are no multiple account sign-ins on iOS, for example, so you can't sign into a different profile with a different fingerprint. Stuff like that is missing, I guess. It's still the early stages of Touch ID technically, but basically it is just for unlocking right now. Now one of the biggest and the best improvements of the iPad Air 2 is its new Retina display. It is still a Retina display and it still has the same 4:3 aspect ratio and 2048 into 1536 resolution, still the same great colors and color reproduction, brightness levels and everything like that. But it's now a fully laminated display, which actually ironically means less air between the glass and the panel. So this anti-reflective coating is supposed to give the screen a much more glare-free look, like the image is closer to the surface of the glass, and it pretty much seems like I was touching the pixels, like the image was floating right on the top of the iPad as I touched it, and the Retina display looks great. And as this is a review which I am doing in 2017, this beast, that is the iPad Air 2, is running on the latest iOS 10.2.1, which is greatly optimized for this iPad. Another improvement of the Air 2 is the specs inside. So the Air 2 is rocking the Apple's new AirTags chip, and without getting too technical, it is essentially a triple core, that is a 3-core processor, and now in the first time in the Apple's tablet history, you get the 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now the AirTags chip, it's incredible, it is super powerful, it's really thermally efficient. This tablet, by the way, never hits up on me and powers iOS 10 as smoothly as you would expect. I mean, there is no hiccups here. It is iOS 10 at its finest. There's not a whole lot of extra stuff going on. It is obviously just a grid of icons, but it is better to be this smooth in 2017. But on a tablet, I've said this before, everything feels like a blown up version of a phone interface here on iPad. It is not really taking much advantage of all those pixels and all that power, and with 2 gigabytes of RAM, you think Apple would find some awesome seriously advanced iPad multitasking stuff to throw in there? But it's still the same interface as any other. Granted, the apps will stay open in the background longer without having to refresh, but honestly, unless you're doing some heavy gaming or messing with some 3D graphics apps or something really intensive like that, you are probably not gonna notice the spec difference between the Air 2 and the original Air, even though it is a lot better. And so this has been my impressions of this beautiful looking beast, the iPad Air 2, of all the stuff that is new in the iPad Air 2, and you can choose for yourself if you think that's worth upgrading. I personally would say only for some people who have an intensive editing or in the work, but it's again up to you. So that's been it guys. Thank you for watching and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.